Have you ever woken up feeling like your body got its rest, but your soul didn't? Your eyes may open slowly, your breath steady, your limbs relaxed, but deep down, there's a weight. A heaviness in your spirit that no amount of sleep, food, or solitude seems to lift. And that's not just in your mind. That weight is real. If you've ever felt that invisible burden, let me reassure you, it's not because you're broken. It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're chosen. You're not imagining the weight you carry. You're not being dramatic. You're simply tuned into something that most people walk right past. And that's not a coincidence. That's divine placement. You've been set apart for something greater. Even before you took your first breath, before your name was ever whispered by another human being, your soul had an assignment. That calling you feel, that pull you can't explain, that's not just intuition, that's destiny speaking. You're here because you're meant to be here, not just watching this message, but living this truth. What you're carrying isn't just the weariness of life, it's the strain of spiritual service. The exhaustion of standing between two worlds, one visible, one hidden. And make no mistake, not everyone can feel it. Not everyone can understand it. That's why you've often felt alone in crowded rooms, or misunderstood even when you speak the truth. That loneliness, it's not punishment. It's a signpost. It means you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to blaze trails. Your soul was wired for something sacred, something eternal. And even though it feels heavy now, that sensitivity, that awareness, that depth, it's all part of your gift. You see things others can't. You feel things others ignore. And that can be overwhelming, but it's also powerful. You're not just a witness in this world, you're a light carrier. That tiredness in your chest, the sudden emotional waves, the sense that you're always on, even when you're resting. It's because you're engaged in battles most will never see. And still, you wake up and choose to keep going. You're not weak. You're spiritually strong beyond words. But here's the part most people will never understand. When you're chosen, your presence alone becomes a force of healing, a force of conviction, a force of peace. And naturally, others will begin to gravitate toward you. Not always with celebration, but often with expectation. Strangers might pour their hearts out to you after knowing you for 5 minutes. Friends may confide their pain, hoping you'll hold it with grace. Even your own family may unknowingly drain your energy, believing you're endlessly capable. And you try, because that's who you are. You carry people. You hold spaces. You absorb chaos and exhale calm. But that labor, it's not ordinary. It's spiritual work. And even though you don't have a pulpit or a robe or a title, you'll be doing ministry every single day. With your love, with your presence, with your silence, with your strength. But even the strongest vessels run dry. Even Jesus, the one who walked on water and healed the sick, knew the power of stepping back. He withdrew. He rested. He prayed in solitude, not because he was weak, but because he understood restoration is holy. And chosen one, if he needed that quiet place, so do you. Your soul is on call even when your body sleeps. That's why you wake up suddenly in the middle of the night, heart racing, eyes wide, as if you were somewhere else just moments before. Because you were. You weren't just dreaming. You were intervening, interceding, protecting. Your spirit doesn't clock out. It travels. It guards. It fights. And that's why you often wake up more tired than when you lay down. Not because your sleep failed, but because your spirit was working. And working hard. This is what few will talk about. Spiritual warfare isn't always loud. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion with no medical explanation. It looks like spiritual resistance disguised as anxiety. It looks like normal life, but lived under supernatural weight. But listen closely. That fatigue is not failure. It's evidence of your engagement in something real. You are not a victim of attack. You are a target because your light threatens darkness. The enemy doesn't chase what isn't a threat. You shine, so resistance rises. But resistance is not defeat. It's confirmation. Like Joseph, betrayed by his own, misunderstood, imprisoned, yet destined to reign. Your story, too, is being crafted through fire. These setbacks are not the end. They are the forge. You are being refined, reshaped, and redirected, not destroyed. And even though you don't have a pulpit or a robe or a title, you'll be doing ministry every single day with your love, with your presence, with your silence, with your strength. But even the strongest vessels run dry. Even Jesus, the one who walked on water and healed the sick, knew the power of stepping back. He withdrew. He rested. He prayed in solitude, not because he was weak, but because he understood restoration is holy and chosen one. If he needed that quiet place, so do you. Your soul is on call even when your body sleeps. That's why you wake up suddenly in the middle of the night, heart racing, eyes wide, as if you were somewhere else just moments before. Because you were. You weren't just dreaming. You were intervening, interceding, protecting. Your spirit doesn't clock out. It travels. It guards. It fights. And that's why you often wake up more tired than when you lay down. Not because your sleep failed, but because your spirit was working. And working hard. This is what few will talk about. Spiritual warfare isn't always loud. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion with no medical explanation. It looks like spiritual resistance disguised as anxiety. It looks like normal life, but lived under supernatural weight. But listen closely. That fatigue is not failure. It's evidence of your engagement in something real. You are not a victim of attack. You are a target because your light threatens darkness. The enemy doesn't chase what isn't a threat. You shine, so resistance rises. But resistance is not defeat. It's confirmation. Like Joseph, betrayed by his own, misunderstood, imprisoned, yet destined to reign. Your story, too, is being crafted through fire. These setbacks are not the end. They are the forge. You are being refined, reshaped, and redirected, not destroyed. And right now, even your tiredness, glory is being written into your name. And maybe, just maybe, that tiredness you feel isn't just physical or emotional. Maybe it's the side effect of trying to live with one foot in the world and one foot in the kingdom. One ear tuned to the noise of culture, and the other ear listening for the whisper of heaven. The tension between the two is exhausting. The world says hustle harder, do more, never stop. But your spirit is crying out for something deeper, for silence, stillness, surrender. Can you feel it? That urge to slow down, that whisper urging you to disconnect from the chaos and reconnect with purpose? That's not laziness. That's alignment. Your spirit is trying to get your attention. It's reminding you that your worth isn't tied to output or followers or noise. It's in your being, your essence, your obedience. Because when you're chosen, you're not called to impress. You're called to impact. And that impact begins in silence. You were never meant to keep pace with a world that measures worth by how busy you are. You weren't designed to sprint through life chasing deadlines, chasing approval, or living by someone else's clock. You were created to move with divine rhythm, with purpose, with intention. There's a sacred tempo to your journey, and every time you're forced into chaos that doesn't match your calling, your spirit resists. That discomfort you feel, that constant tiredness, it's your soul's protest against the noise, the grind, the constant demand to be on. And when you ignore that inner voice, the body begins to carry the weight. That's why fatigue is often misunderstood. Stillness is not laziness. Silence is not weakness. Solitude, it isn't you giving up, it's you preserving the sacred within. Think about it. When the prophet Elijah stood at the edge of despair, God didn't thunder in with fire or earthquake or storm. Instead, the Almighty whispered, a gentle, still voice, barely audible, yet more powerful than all the noise before it. That whisper still exists, waiting for you in moments of quiet, when your distractions are turned off and your spirit finally gets to breathe. The world fears that kind of silence because silence awakens power. When you're still, you begin to hear what truly matters. You feel what you've been pushing aside. You connect with who you really are, and that is something no system can control. But it's not just responsibilities or people that drain you. It's places, devices, thought patterns. Even your own mind can turn against you when it's not renewed. Draining energy doesn't always come in the form of a person. Sometimes it's a habit, a loop, a lie you keep telling yourself. And here's the truth. Not everyone who leans on you does it out of harm. Many people who come to you are just souls searching for their own light, and your presence gives them peace. But without boundaries, even your light can burn out. You cannot keep giving from an empty well. You must guard your energy like sacred fire. Above all else, Scripture says, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. That means learning to say no. That means realizing that not everyone is entitled to your inner world, your peace, your time. That means monitoring not only what enters your heart, but what your own voice speaks over your life. Because yes, even your self-talk holds power. Every word you speak carries frequency. And when your tongue rehearses fear, doubt, shame, you're cutting into your own soul. But when you speak life, even quietly, even uncertainly, you shift the atmosphere. So speak light, speak healing, speak divine timing over your life. Say it aloud if you have to. I am chosen. I am protected. I am aligned with my Creator's plan. These aren't just affirmations. These are declarations. And declarations, when backed by belief, are spiritual weapons. So, what do you do when this exhaustion feels never-ending? You don't push harder. You don't strive. You restore intentionally. Treat rest as sacred. Treat stillness as holy. Even God rested after creating the world, not because he was tired, but because he was teaching us the rhythm of renewal. Rest isn't an escape. It's a requirement. Sleep isn't just a bodily function. It's spiritual alignment. Make your bedtime a ceremony. Pray. Speak gratitude. Call your scattered energy back to yourself. Ask for protection as you sleep. Envision angels standing at every corner of your room. And believe that when you close your eyes, heaven still watches over you. Psalm 91 declares that angels are assigned to guard you in all your ways, and that includes your rest. Don't underestimate the power of creation in this process. Step outside, touch the soil, breathe the morning air, let sunlight hit your face. These are not luxuries. They are medicine for your soul. God didn't just make the earth for us to live on. He made it to heal us. Romans reminds us that his eternal nature can be understood through creation itself. So when you reconnect with earth, you reconnect with God. But more than anything, listen to the truth behind your tiredness. That weariness isn't here to punish you. It's here to birth something sacred. This exhaustion is your cocoon, the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. You are shedding what no longer serves you. The version of you that lived for the world's approval is dissolving. And what will rise in its place is something stronger, something clearer, something unshakable. Isaiah said, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles." So hear this now. Your fatigue is temporary. Your pruning has a purpose. This season is not your burial. It is your planting. Let go of what drains you. Release what no longer fits. Surrender the rhythms that no longer serve your soul. The more you release, the higher you will rise. And when you rise, and you will rise, you won't be returning to the old version of yourself. You'll emerge completely transformed, refined by fire, aligned in truth, and awakened to your divine assignment. This is not just a shift. This is your spiritual rebirth. You felt the stripping, but now something unstoppable is being born. So hear me clearly. Your tiredness is not weakness. Your stillness is not defeat. Your longing for peace is not strange. It is strategy. It is God's way of slowing you down long enough to realign you with your higher calling. Don't resist it. Embrace it, because what's waiting on the other side of this season is the version of you the world desperately needs. And if this message stirred something in your soul, let it echo. Speak life in the comments. Type 777 if something inside you has awakened. Type 44 if you feel the need for divine protection. Type 99 if you sense a chapter closing. Type 33 if clarity has begun to arrive. Let heaven and earth witness your declaration. And never forget, you are chosen, you are sacred, and no darkness will ever dim your light. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not and will never overcome it.